Hi everybody, Rockin' Hottie here. Haven't done a video in a while, but new year, thought I'd start doing some more videos. So today I'm going to show you guys how to do a specific crochet pattern. Now this particular pattern calls for 2 colors of yarn. It calls for a 5mm hook, also called the H hook. So first we're just going to start off with doing a slip knot. And I'm just going to walk you through the different stitches that this particular pattern calls for. So one, the basic chain stitch. In this stitch, all you're doing is grabbing the yarn and pulling it through, grabbing the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn, pull it through. That's a chain stitch, and you do however many that your pattern is going to call for. The next stitch that we're going to cover is called the slip stitch. So in this stitch, what we want to do is insert our hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it through again. In this particular case, which is something that we're going to do in the pattern, I did my slip stitch in that very first chain that I had done. And what this does is it just forms a ring, and then we're going to be using the middle space inside that ring afterwards. So the next stitch that it calls for is called a double crochet. So a double crochet is when you wrap the yarn around, and then you're going to insert your hook into whatever area that it's calling for. You're going to grab the yarn, pull it through. This is going to leave you with 3 hooks on your chain, on your hook, sorry, 3 loops on your hook. And you're going to wrap the yarn around again, pull through 2 of the loops, leaving you with 2. Wrap your yarn around again and pull through the remaining 2. This creates your double crochet. So again, wrap the yarn around, insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull it through. Wrap the yarn around, pull it through 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, and pull it through 2 loops. That is your double crochet. The last type of stitch that it calls for is called a triple. So in this one, you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook twice, then insert the hook and grab the yarn and pull it through. Wrap your yarn around, pull through 2 loops, wrap your yarn around, pull through 2 loops, wrap your yarn around, pull through the last 2 loops. So again, the triple is to wrap twice, insert the hook, grab your yarn, pull it through. You now have 4 loops on your hook. Wrap your yarn around, pull through 2, wrap your yarn around, pull through 2, wrap your yarn around, and pull through the last 2. So those are all the stitches that we're going to use in this pattern. So now we're going to go ahead and start our pattern. So we're going to start with our slip knot, and then we are going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to slip stitch into the very first chain. So we're just going to insert the hook, grab the yarn and pull it through, and then grab the yarn and pull it through again, causing your ring to be formed. So that's how we start. Now we're going to start with our first round. Our first round, first step is a chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And now what we need to do is do 9 double crochets inside the center of the ring that we just created. So we're going to wrap our yarn around, go in the center hole, grab the yarn, pull it through 3 stitches, grab the yarn, pull it through the first 2, grab the yarn, pull it through the first 2. We're going to do that 9 times. So 2. As I'm doing this, I'm keeping the piece of string that was left over on the edge of my project, so that as I wrap around, I'm actually stitching the leftover string into the pattern. Just makes your stitching that much less likely to come apart once you cut it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, keep in mind we started this project with a chain 3. So if we were to count all the stitches in our project so far, we would have 10, because that first chain 3 actually counts as a double crochet. Now I'm just going to redo my last stitch because I can see that when I did it I didn't grab all of it. So I'm just going to redo that very last one. There we go. So now that excess piece that we had wrapped in, just going to take our scissors and cut it as close as we can get without damaging the project. So now here's where the chain, the slip stitch comes into play. So where we did our very first chain 3, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull through, grab your yarn, pull through. This causes a space here. Now, in between each one, you have a space. At the very top of each one, you have a stitch. Okay? So, the first step in round 2 is to chain 3 again. So, 1, 2, 3. Now, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the same space that we had done our previous slip stitch. So that hole that I showed you as the space, you're going to wrap your yarn around, insert your hook into that space, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn again, pull it through the first 2, grab your yarn again, pull it through the last 2. So the next step is to do 2 double crochets in each, so 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So instead of using the space, we're going to use the stitch area. So wrap your yarn around, go into your stitch, and do your double crochet. You want 2 of them in that stitch. So again, you should be able to see this one here went into the space and these ones go into the stitch. We're going to do this all the way around. So 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around. Now, if you are doing your stitches too tight when you're doing circles, it causes the pattern to start lifting on the edges. So just make sure that as you're doing it, you're not pulling your yarn too tightly. Otherwise, you end up getting this kind of thing where it pulls upwards like that. Flatten out your pattern, pull it, get it nice and flat. So nice, loose stitches. Pull on it if you need to see how far you should be. And we're going to go 2 double crochet all the way around the project. Now, I know a lot of YouTube videos will do cuts and edits, and they fast forward through the project. Unfortunately, I do not have a program that will allow me to do that. So as we're going through the rows together, I'll try to entertain you a little bit. I'm not very good at that, I don't think, but I can talk, right? So we'll see what we can do. Try not to bore you too much while we're counting. So we've gone around and put 2 in each one. So by the time you are done this particular round, you should have 20 double crochets. Keep in mind that that triple counts as a double crochet. So we're going to count them. We should have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 2 stitches too many. This is why it is so important to count your stitches. So now we're at the end of row 2 and we want to join with a slip stitch, but here we're going to change colors. So when you change colors, you have to do it partway through, otherwise you end up with the colors on the wrong levels. So in order to do a proper change over, what we're going to do is we're going to count our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, insert the hook, and at this point you're just going to let your first color drop. Grab the string from your second color, just wrap it around your hook. You don't need to tie it off because we're going to incorporate it into the pattern. So wrap it around, pull through, and pull through. So now your yellow stays on that, and on the next row it's all going to be orange or whatever color you're choosing to do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that first color and I'm just going to snip it. I'm going to take the 2 colors, the strands that are already cut, and I'm just going to wrap those around the edge of the project, and as we go it's going to wrap itself inside the project. Okay, so now we're going to start round 3 and we're going to start with a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and now we want to do 1 double crochet in the same space as the slip stitch. So again, where we created the hole by doing the slip stitch on the previous row, we're going to go into the space, the hole underneath. Grab your yarn, pull through, and actually I'm going to back up, I'm sorry. We're doing a double. So we're going to wrap our yarn around, then go through the space, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. So now we have 2 of them going into that same area. So now the pattern calls for 2 double crochets in the next double crochets, and repeat this all the way around for a total of 40 double crochets, including your triple, remember? So I'm just kind of pulling this tighter because it was a little loose. So 2 in each one all the way around. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So I can tell I did those ones a little tight, so it might start to change the shape a bit. So just kind of tug on it, pull it. Nice and loose. So we're going to do this all the way around, making sure that our string is underneath. What's really good about keeping the string on the edge of your project like that and crocheting it into the project is you don't have to go with the darning needle and put all of those edges into the pattern again. It's already stitched into the pattern. You're not going to have to weave it at another time. Once it kind of has that little bit of edge, I just kind of pull it back with my finger to get it out of the way for a minute. And keep going. And all the way around to the end. If you feel like it didn't work nicely, just take it out and do it again. That's one thing I really like about the crocheting, is that it's easy to go back and take out your stitch in order to redo it. So we're almost at the end again. Slowly getting there. I think if I'm going to start doing videos again with all of this, that maybe I'm going to have to get an editing program so that you guys don't have to watch all the little slow parts. So keep double crocheting, 2 in each. This is probably going to make a pretty long video, so please feel free to fast forward. Almost there. Okay, I'm just going to count. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Alright, so we've got our 40 double crochets, and now we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and insert your hook, grab it, pull it through, grab it, pull it through. Now you're going to notice that in my pattern there's a bit of an extra space right here. Yours shouldn't have that, but what I did is when I did my second double crochet over here, I actually inserted it into the wrong stitch. So I have one stitch left over here because I did 4 in that first one by mistake. But because I don't have an editing program, and it would be absolutely horrible to sit here and undo all of these stitches and make you sit while I redid them all, I'm just going to leave the space right there, because for this particular situation, that's okay by me. But it's not like it's very hard to undo them. It's just time consuming for this video's purposes. So next we're going to start with round 4. So here we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. and we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So we're not going into the space, so we're going to go 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. Okay, then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So 1 double and 2 doubles. This is going to be your pattern for the entire row. So all double crochets, but 1 by itself, 1 by itself, 1 by itself, 2 together. So we're going to go 3 double crochets, each in their own stitch. 2 and 3. And then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Repeat the pattern. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Repeat this pattern all the way around. 1, 2, 3, and 2 in the same, 1 and 2. Now 3, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 2 in the next one. 1, 2. Keep going all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. You can see my pattern starting to come up, so just tugging it to flatten it out. Now, how many did I leave off at? Where did I leave off at? Easiest way to figure that out, if you have kids and they come in and distract you, look back and look for your 2 that are in the same stitch, and then count 1 by itself, 2 by itself, 3 by itself. So I need to do 2 in the next hole. And 3 all alone. And 2 in the next one. Now, why it was so important for us to count our stitches on our first rows is because if you did not do the amount of stitches that it asked you to do, you will get to the end of this row and have too many stitches left over, or not enough stitches left over. One, 2, 3, and 2. Alright, so now we've done that all the way around, and we are going to slip stitch to join, but we're going to return ourselves back to the original color that we started with. So 1, 2, 3 chains, insert your hook, drop your color, grab your next color, wrap it around your hook, and pull through both. Flip your project over, grab your scissors, and cut your orange. Now, you can see where we had the pieces that we had crocheted inside. Again, just very carefully and as close to the pattern as you feel comfortable with. And you can see right here my yellow has a little bit kind of hanging. Use your finger and just kind of stretch your pattern, and all of a sudden you see that that little piece that was there has now disappeared. It's underneath and stitched in. So the two strands that are loose that we're going to work inside the pattern, wrap around the pattern. And now we are going to start with our 5th round. So again, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. So wrap around, go inside your next stitch, grab it, pull through, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2, and we're going to do that 3 times. I'm just going to undo mine here because it kind of hooked funny and I didn't have all my yarn. And there we go. So now you should have your chain 3 and 3 double crochets. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So I really like this yellow yarn that I got. It's that baby soft yarn, which feels so nice. But maybe because it's so thin, I find that often it does where it kind of leaves that little edge piece, which really sucks. Alright, so we got 2 in that one. So now we're going to repeat our pattern, which, like the last round, is now going to be 4 double crochets in each of the next stitches, and then 2 in the next one. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 4 double crochets, and then 2 in the next space together. So 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 inside the next space. And we're going to follow that same pattern all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 in the next space. One, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next space. Keep going all the way around. That's 3 and 4 and 2 in this one. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 inside the next space. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next one. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 in the next space. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 in the next stitch. Alright, so I'm just going to flatten out my project. Tug, tug, tug. Alright, so now we are going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. And again, we are going to change colors for our very last round. So 1, 2, 3, insert the hook, grab the yarn and pull it through for your slip stitch. Oh, no, we're changing color, sorry. Insert the hook, drop your yarn, wrap your yarn around, and pull through. Flip it over, cut off your yellow, wrap the excess string around your project. Alright, so here we're only going to chain 1. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in the same space as the slip stitch. So in that space we created, we're going to wrap around 1 time, go through the big hole, grab your yarn, pull it through. What am I doing? Oh my god. Let's try this again. So we've done our chain 1. We've got our space. We're doing a single. So in the hole first, grab the yarn, pull it through. You're going to have 2 loops on here. Wrap it around and pull through 2. So that's your single. Now we're going to skip the next double crochet, and we're going to do 8 triples in the stitch after that. So we're going to skip this one and we're going to work in this one. So wrap your yarn around twice, insert, grab your yarn, pull it through, wrap your yarn around, pull through the first 2, wrap your yarn around, pull through the next 2, wrap your yarn around, and pull through the last 2. We want 8 of those. So wrap twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Wrap your yarn around twice, insert your hook, pull through, grab your yarn, pull through the first 2, grab your yarn, pull through the next 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2 again. So we've got 3 so far. We need 8. That's 4.